Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to bake with you today. I know we normally do baking in our classroom, but today we're going to do it in my kitchen and in your kitchens at home. So we are making banana bread. I figured everyone has, most people have those frozen bananas in the back of their freezer. So let's use them up today. So we need to remember to wash our hands. So if you have long sleeves on like I do, you need to roll them up first. And then let's go wash our hands, front and back. Remember, paper, rock, scissors. And do it again. Okay, so I'm gonna go wash my hands and then we will get started. I also have my apron on today, just because I don't wanna get things all over my clothes, and my hair is going to need to go back because remember, our hair always goes back if it's long when we are baking. Okay, so my hands are washed. I made sure I washed all the way up to my wrists, included my fingertips and my thumbs because those are the parts that we sometimes forget. Hair is up so it's out of the way. And what is the last thing that Mrs. Saroya needs when she is baking? Some of you might know, my coffee. So if you need to go and get yourself a special drink, maybe some tea or a hot chocolate or some water in a fancy cup, go ahead and grab that and then we're going to get started. Just makes baking better. Before baking, I like to lay out all of my ingredients and tools. So I've got all my teaspoons. I'm going to put all my salt and cinnamon, baking powder, and baking soda in there. Measuring cups, butter I already measured. The rest of the ingredients. I took the bananas out of the freezer last night so they would defrost and not be frozen. And then my mixing bowl and my spoon. Or in my case, I tend to use a spatula instead. So since I've got everything laid out, I'm going to go ahead and pre-measure everything, and then it will make it really easy to just put it in the bowl and combine. Okay, hands are clean. So now I'm going to measure out the flour. And I need 1.5 cups. So I like to use the side of the bag to just scrape it down. So there's 1 cup of flour. And then I need my 1/2 cup. And 1/2 cup of flour. Now I need to melt the butter because mine was in the fridge, so it's quite hard, but it's in metal right now, so I cannot melt the butter in metal. I cannot put metal in the microwave. So I'm going to put it in this little container, microwave it for about 10 seconds, and then it should be ready to use in my recipe. Alright, so as you can see, the butter is nice and melted now. I didn't want the whole thing liquid. Probably microwaved, ooh, baking fail. I probably microwaved it a little bit too long, but that's okay. Alright, so let's mash these up. I want to do it before I put my butter in because if I start to do it with my butter, I might make a mess. As you can see, I'm kind of a messy baker. So let's mash these up. Okay, so we're all done with our whisk. So I'm just gonna do that on the side because I want to get most of the mixture off of there and then put that in the sink for later. Okay, so next we're going to add our sugar. So I did not have a 3/4 cup container. So what I did was I took my 1/2 cup measuring cup and my 1/4 cup measuring cup and added those together to make 3/4 of a cup. So now I packed it all down because I always like to see what it looks like when I put it inside the bowl. And it makes that nice lump. Okay, so once we've done that, we're going to add in our egg. So I like to just crack mine on the side of the bowl. Sometimes you have to do it twice or 3 times. And then just open it up and let the egg drop inside. And I always wash my hands after touching the egg, just because I usually get some on my fingers and I don't want to spread it all around the kitchen. So we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Sometimes I add in a little extra. I like the extra splash. Okay. And then we're going to stir this up really, really well because we want everything to get really mixed. And our next step is to add the flour. So when you're adding flour, you want to make sure that you're not pouring it from up here because you're going to get flour everywhere. But I always like to put it in the bowl and then pour it. And I do the same with the other one because remember we needed 1.5 cups. So I pour it all in. And then I just start to stir very slowly. I like to stir from the outside in. Alright, so we're going to put it in our grease baking dish. I always like to use a glass one. It's just something I've done since I was little, so I continue to use a glass one. Your family might use a tin one or a silicone one, sorry, a metal one or a silicone one, and any bread baking dish is absolutely fine. So I like to grease mine with butter. You can grease yours with coconut oil, lard, butter, it's your choice. So all we're going to do is put our entire mixture inside our bread pan here. And when I'm doing this, I like to really scrape out the sides of the bowl to make sure I get everything in there. Alright, as you can see, I try to get almost everything. I mean, we put all the hard work in, might as well get it all out. So once that's done, I just want to make sure that this is even. So all I really do is just give it a little shake back and forth. And now we can put it in the oven. Alright, so we're going to put our banana bread in the oven. I have it already preheated to 350. So we'll put it in the oven on the middle rack. And let it cook for about 50 to 60 minutes. So when I set my timer, I always just make sure that I set it for about 45 minutes. I always kind of do, oops, too far, 5 minutes under the lowest cooking time, just so I can check it and make sure that it's going to cook properly. So while you're waiting for, oh, there's Nero, are you coming to say hi? He usually likes to sit in the kitchen while I'm cooking and be right in the way. So while you're waiting for your banana bread to cook, it's really important you get all your dishes done. So make sure you're helping out doing the dishes or doing them by yourself, and then you can all enjoy your delicious banana bread when it's done. So I will see you when it's finished. All right, I think we're done. It's nice and golden brown. Ooh, knife comes out nice and clean. Okay, our banana bread is done and ready to cool and then be eaten. All right, it is time to take our banana bread out. So the first thing that I do, oh, it smells delicious, is I just go around the edges with a knife just to make sure there's nothing that's stuck. And then we can flip it out. Oh. I don't know if you can see the steam, but it's still quite hot. And then I am going to cut myself 2 pieces to enjoy. Thank you so much for baking with me today. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed it too. Stay tuned for next week to find out what we will be baking next. Also open to suggestions if there's anything that you are wanting to bake for us to do together. Enjoy your banana bread.